All right, guys, ladies and gentlemen, we are live in the Smart Leverage Facebook group. So today we're actually taking up a post that I posted, a post 5 weeks ago. I was supposed to do this video a while back, as 5 weeks ago would imply, where we're going to go through some of your guys' little trials and awesomeness you're going through right now. Trials and tribulations, is that the right phrase? Let's make this a little smaller here, 44. Boom. So we are going to be discussing, you guys posted in the group some replies to this where I asked, what are your goals are you working towards right now, personal and business, and then what do you think is holding you back from reaching them? What else did I put here? What do you think would help you get over those barriers? So that's what we're going to be discussing today. If you're with us live, feel free to chime in with your answers to those thingamabobs. But if you're listening to the recording, welcome. Leave a comment. Say hi. I'll post this in the group, I'm sure. But even if it's on YouTube, whatevs, you can drop a hey, what's up? So we got like 50 different comments. Some of them answer them. Some of them are kind of just talking shop. But figure what we'll do, we'll go down through these. Let me just drop the chair down just a little bit here. And look, we got two cameras set up now. Super fancy. So we can be like, hey camera B, hey camera A. Look at that. So fun. But to the point. Barriers. What are people facing? Now, it's been 5 weeks, so some of these people may have overcome them, but let's go through them. And I need to mute Discord. I'm really digging it, but it also notifies me of everything. So I wonder if there's a temporary, how about this? I just quit Discord for now. Gotta remember to, oh, did I hit record? I did. All right. Let me know in the chat if the audio sounds okay. Is my voice too low? Is the music too high? Stuff like that. I'm going to drop the music audio down just a bit, just so we can focus on the questions at hand. So, first one here from Clinton. What he's working on is the top. What goals are we working towards? I'm going to write these down just so I have them for quick reference. Goals towards is the first one, and then barriers. And we'll discuss some ideas based on, if I have experience with overcoming some of them. Can't say I'm going to have answers to all of them because everybody's problems are unique, but hopefully be able to give some insights based on my experience with these things. So, George says, all good. Awesome. Glad to hear that. All right, first one here from Clinton. Says, I am working to improve my copywriting skills and become a pro copywriter. Good for you. Sean.co/copy. That's why you're in here, actually, is because we're streaming to the Facebook group for my book. Hard plug right there. So, first off, read my book. No. Clinton says, I have issues with consistency and concentration, giving full focus on what I intend on doing. That's what's holding him back. You know what? That is a incredibly common problem. So I should probably time myself on these to not, here, we'll do this. Timer. I have a couple different timers, smart count time. I'll try to keep these to under 5 minutes because I will rant and rant and rant. 5 minutes. Boom. All right. So concentration, all that good stuff. So Clinton, the concentration and consistency stuff. A couple things you can do. One, first off, as I said, it's a very common thing. It is not, you're not alone in that. That is maybe one of the most common issues people face. For me personally, focus has always been a problem. I was talking about this yesterday on the stream where, for years, I've been clinically diagnosed with ADHD, and for years I kind of ignored it, that's malarkey, whatever. But after speaking with a psychiatrist for a while, there's a difference, medical psychologist, started to realize, like, it is an actual chemical imbalance. And for me, that focus, that lack of concentration was built into that. So there's things you can do if you don't have ADHD to help, like taking omega oils, all that good stuff. Exercising is a huge one. But really, if you do have ADHD and you are, this is not medical advice, by the way, but do some research into it. I found that when I actually went on medication, I tried a bunch of different levels of it. It turned out that a low dosage of a certain type of medication really helped me. And I've been using that for years, and it's made such a huge difference. Not just in my focus at like work and stuff. The really big area in my life where it helped a lot was actually communication with people I love, like my wife and people around me, because what happened with me was, like, I just could not hold a conversation very well because I'd be just so all over the place. Still a bit like that, but that's one of the, we'll call that more of a personality trait now. But I couldn't really do it if I wanted to. I couldn't really listen that well because I was always just thinking ahead, thinking all over the place. So that really helped me. I'm not saying you have ADHD. Everybody has concentration issues. But there is a level where the clinical aspect of it can kick in, where getting help, seeing a doctor about that can help. First, try it. Make sure your exercise, your sleep routine is huge. I still have to do all those things. I still take some supplements to help. I still have to exercise, pretty much every day. But really what's happening there is, as explained this yesterday on the stream too, really the problem with ADHD is you have a dopamine level issue. So your dopamine is, on average, there's two types of dopamine, but there's one that's like always in your brain going, and there's the one that gets generated when you are trying to reach a goal. For people with ADHD, a lot of times their dopamine level is artificially like way too low. So they're always searching for a stimulus to give them that dopamine so they don't feel that anxious feeling that comes with lack of concentration, so focus becomes difficult. There's another really good book I'm going to recommend for the consistency part, along with the concentration. There's a book called Deep Work by Cal Newport. And in the Facebook group here, I actually, in one of the documents on the left, on the files folders section, I posted all my notes from that book. But in essence, he talks a lot about how to stay focused, how to really, concentration comes down to prioritization correctly, saying no to distractions, eating those frogs and getting those things done early in the day so that you can max it out. Now, another big thing for me was realizing that momentum is really important with consistency. So the more consistent that I am consistent, the easier it is for me to be consistent. So when you're starting from day one with consistency, it's going to be hard. Like, that's the nature of it. If it was easy, then everybody would do it. So just keep in mind, if you're getting back into, if you're coming out of a phase of kind of like being self-defeating and trying to, just a lot of procrastination, it's going to take you a little bit of time to get back into a consistent workload. And another thing too is to start systematizing things a bit. Like, we all as entrepreneurs resist routine. I go back and forth, ebb and flow with it. But keeping track of your routine is super, super important. It might help to start, instead of keeping a to-do list, if you're not doing that very well, just keep a list of things you've done. I have a couple different notebooks for different projects, and I just, instead of writing out to-dos all the time, sometimes I just write out, here's what I did, so I can keep track of that. A lot of things you can do there. It's just keep it in mind, like, you got to prioritize what's important, which means you got to define what's important. And if you haven't taken that step, really defining why you want to be a good copywriter, why you want to practice, why you want to be highly sought after, then that's a really good step, because that's the stuff you can turn to when you'd rather go play video games or procrastinate. So hope that helps, Clinton. Thanks for sharing. Julie says, life changer to get on the medication, right? It is true. Too much is a problem, and too little, just doesn't work. But even like I was on too high of a dosage for a while of a certain type of medication, and I felt like a zombie all the time. Like I was way too focused, like I couldn't. It was just the other extreme. So got to find a good balance. ADHD isn't a sin. There's nothing wrong with you inherently. You just got to learn to live with it. And there's some really good perks that come with it. Like when you get focused, you know how it is. Like you can just go crazy hard. Like with my book, for example, like, man, when I get into it, I can go 12 hours without a break. I can go hard. But that doesn't mean I can complete it. Like I'll just go hard while I'm interested in it. Then I'll drag my feet for 2 years and not get done. So Oscar was just sharing a nice saying here. He said, like start saying your post on fear as a compass was the real deal. Straight poetry. Yeah, that's a really good post, Oscar. Anybody who wants to see it, if you go to sean.co, yeah, just sean.co. I have a post on here called Fear is a Compass. Just a little exercise in exploring. I mean, I believe in this very much so, but might be worth checking out if you have some problems with anxiety. That was the discussion here. I think you'll like it. I'll try to pop that in the description if I remember. Oscar says, my goal is to begin and scale my business. Begin is a tough phase, man. Totally can empathize with that. I don't think I have music going at all now, do I? Oh, maybe I do. Maybe a little bit? There we go. So Oscar was just saying some nice stuff. But we'll talk about that just for a minute. So I'm still building the business in a few short months. It shows a ton of potential. Nice. So it sounds like you have a good idea you're working with. Sounds like you're getting started. I'm not going to talk about this for a full 5 minutes, but some advice for beginners if you're just getting started. And look, we're going to make this more cinematic. Look at this. Oops. Yeah, full video. Oh, and I have this little like weird video artifact. I'm going to hide that. We'll start from here again. So if you're just getting started, if you're just a beginner trying to figure out like how to scale your business, that's what we're talking about here, Oscar. It's what you mentioned is kind of your goal, right? Focus first on getting that like first customer. That's a mistake a lot of people make, is they do so much upfront work that they try to make everything perfect, get all the ducks in a row, and they never actually put anything out there, and it's always just in production, early pre-production. It's not even in production yet. For instance, this obviously is biased, but this is my experience. When I was putting my book together, I launched it really early on in the process of developing it, launched it digitally for a really discounted price. And I put it in a Facebook group and started getting feedback. And the discounted rate that I put on it at the time was, that was part of the marketing because I wasn't launching it at the full price. But what it gave me was a lot of momentum, and that's really important when you're building a business. There's obviously caveats to that based on the type of business you're running, but get something out there. Get a sales page up. Get a minimal viable product is what they call it, like the product you'd be comfortable to selling to people who could benefit from it right out the gate. Like my book wasn't perfect when it launched, still not perfect, but I've been able to build on that momentum. Now I'm up to 321 pages with many more to add, and I very much doubt I would have gotten there if I would have waited till the book was done to launch it. So something to keep in mind, there's a really good book called Ready, Fire, Aim. Forget who wrote it. Ready, Fire, Aim. It's all about that concept of minimal viable products. So, Oscar, good luck with that, man. Let's keep going here. Chris Luck. How you doing, dude? Always good to see your name. Was holding back from reaching it sooner. Later than is the copy. Working on that now. Let's see if you could work. It's been 5 weeks. Is the copy done? Okay, there's some good copy here. Now, if this is the same copy from 5 weeks ago, Chris, then you're in trouble. We need to talk about social media, it says. So, not going to do a full copy critique because I have a lot of things to get to here, but I'm just curious that one of the little copy tips I can give everybody real quick is a lot of times when we write copy, the good stuff starts like right in the middle. So like this is okay when you talk about social, but it's like not all that interesting. Social network for entrepreneurs. It tells me what that is. So this is defining the problem, which is cool, but I'm curious. Entrepreneurs need a safe place online they can call home that's private, secure, and simplified. It's a really nice kind of like value statement. You need to justify why that's true. I don't necessarily, like, at face value, I don't necessarily personally believe them. Like, okay. This is kind of cool. So yeah, you might just start up here. Like, you might start the page here. This is your big claim, right? Then you explain why that's the case. Then you can bring in all this good stuff, right? You start here, then you go into, let me know if this sounds familiar. You know, things have changed. You've lost control over who you can reach, buried in an avalanche of ads, negativity, blah, blah, blah. So anyways, that's something real quick, guys, just to keep in mind. But awesome, Chris. Excited to see that come together for you, man. Excuse me. Okay. So, how's everybody in the chat doing? I know I'm doing this as kind of like a video that I'm recording, but there's quite a few people here, just chilling out with us. It's nice. Okay. Next question. Again, just to recap, we are answering two important questions. What are people's goals? What barriers are they facing? And I am trying to share a little bit of insight based on my own experience in this online world. And let's see what Paul has to say. Paul says, revamping my website from my website niche. So picking a new niche from general B2B to just B&B lead systems for manufacturers. Have to redo all my copy. Come up with a checklist, get away an ebook. It's exciting, Paul. Picking a new niche, getting a little more niche from general B2B to that. That's always a good move, like in my opinion, if you sell a service to if you're not getting much traction at a broad level, getting more specific will help you identify your customers easier, speak more of their language, like all around good stuff. It does kind of lower the threshold of number of customers you can get, but depending on your service, that might not be a big deal. And if you're building websites, lead systems, it's always nice to get a bit more focused and be able to identify those manufacturers and actually do outbound sales. So real quick, that's something a lot of people undervalue in the service world. It's 100% how I get my clients these days, and how I have like a big switch in my business was when I switched from doing inbound sales to purely focusing on outbound sales. And what that means is instead of just having people come to me and do sales, or like as far as like running ads and generating leads and all that for my business, instead what I did was I went and identified very specific people I wanted to work with that I knew I could help a lot, and I knew I could help scale their business. So Paul, set up your marketing copy, all that lead stuff, but also on top of that, like start identifying perfect manufacturers for your service, ideal ones that need what you're selling and you know you can help. Then go after them. Like that's where outbound sales really is effective. Most people teach the other way, but if you have a boutique service where it's not like you're trying to get 100 different clients, you're just trying to get a few really good ones and charge a good amount, I've found it's so important to pick the right ones. You don't want to go through a bunch of applications of people who think they're a good client for you, it's much better to. I'm going to go in that very deeply. I actually have a course on it called Equity Consulting System. If you guys want to check it out, I'll put a link in the description somewhere, talking all about that. But that's exciting stuff, man. If you see this video, keep us posted. My guy, says Jordan. Jordan, I am live on a Facebook chat. Hey, man, I'm live on Facebook. I'll hit you back soon. All right. All right, where were we? I said all right about 14 times. Eric, I built. Oh boy. I build mobile apps. I built a mobile app for one of my clients. Search for it in the Google Play Store. Beaver Book Campground. Bum bum bum. Interesting. Beaver Book Campground, Eric. It's pretty cool you're building apps, man. It's a tough world. I'm getting an app. Not seeing the app. Maybe I should search on my phone. But Campground. Wait. Main feature is the Campground has a CMS which allows them to edit content on many of the app screen. It's probably getting a bit more difficult in the COVID world. Is this an app for the Campground? I'm a bit confused. Got it. Okay, so it looks like you are selling a CMS. This is not it. All right, so you're selling an app to Campgrounds that they can create an app for their campground that people can edit. Yeah? Sounds like that. That's a tough one, man. I don't know much about that world, but if you can prove to the campground that it's going to help them make more money and save them time, that's the two core things businesses are often concerned about, have a better experience for their customers. You can charge whatever the market is willing to pay and whatever, so something about like similar type business, same kind of idea, hospitality, I guess, like pet resorts. You know, they have software that developers make that they sell to. It's kind of like a website where it's just everything's done for you, all the bookings, all the blog content, all that stuff. It's a CMS just for pet resorts, right? Dog daycare stuff. It's kind of similar. It sounds like what you're doing for campgrounds. So what you'd want to do is build a service designed to market that to campgrounds and make it clear. The only problem you're going to run into, I would imagine, is I don't know what the profit margins are and how much money campgrounds make, but I imagine I'm just making an assumption here, but they may not be the best target market. Maybe you can reskin it for a little higher level clientele, at least when you're getting started, so that you can charge more. If you made it a general CMS that people could get for like $10, you're not going to have a problem. But you're only going to sell, as many apps as there are campsites, right? And yeah, as many campsites that see that as a problem. So I don't know. You might take it and re-skin it conceptually for like higher end lodges or something to try out. See if it appeals, but overall, it's always good to have an asset like that you can sell, even if you end up, modifying it later to target different audiences. If it is a CMS, content management system that you can just reskin and make it for hairstylists, make it for all kinds of different businesses, gyms, then you could really start tapping into that, 500,000 businesses that are started in the United States a year. Has a game score. Not sure. I don't know much about apps, but good luck, man. Keep us in the loop. All right. Julie, how you doing? Good to have you still here. All right. Esteban. His goal is I'm working to grow and build my solar consultancy. So I'm guessing that's consultancy for... That's the tough thing. I'm not sure if you're... Are you selling solar power? Let's see. It says the biggest barrier is being able to generate high quality leads online. I hate door knocking. Don't have a sales team yet. Yeah, so I don't need one at the moment, but I would like to get to the point where I am so busy I need to hire new consultants. So I wish I could tell you more, but I'm not 100% sure what you mean by solar consultancy. I'm guessing you mean, let's just go with the assumption that you're consulting with homes and businesses on how they can use solar in their homes and businesses, right? And it's a pretty competitive world, right? I know companies pay a really high lead fee for that. Like you see Solar City in like Home Depots and stuff. At least you used to. And it's those leads are not cheap. You pay. I bet you could Google it and find out how much they're paying per lead. So I'm glad you said you're studying copy so I can generate leads and sales for my business. That is a great place to start because honestly, understanding the real problems, this is probably the good lesson to focus on. We'll try to keep this to 5 minutes as well here. Identifying the real problem that solar solves and utilizing that in your marketing is important. And that's where copy will really help you come in and start digging in. So go back to your past clients and really examine why they purchased, what was their decision making, and take it a step further. I would assume most people who sell solar equipment, things like that, they're selling energy efficient, helping the planet, all good stuff, right? But what other incentives are there for the user? What are some hidden benefits that you could identify that maybe your competitors aren't talking about? For instance, and I don't know this for a fact, but let's just as an example, let's assume that if someone was trying to sell their house in a very competitive market, that having solar panels and solar stuff set up on their home would increase the value of their home, the retail value. Let's go with that assumption for a second. So instead of going out and setting up the same old-fashioned content marketing, energy efficient awesomeness out there that most of your competitors are probably doing, you could go out and identify, like you could partner with some realtors who want to sell high-end homes, but they're maybe a home is having a hard time selling, and you say, hey, we got this thing for less than 10 grand. We can set you up with a whole new solar panel and a system, and it's a really good selling point for the home, and we found it helps sell homes 20% faster. Whatever the stats are, you'd have to look into that. Just as an example, these are called hidden benefits. They're things you can identify, and they become marketing campaigns. So that would be my recommendation, and try to identify those. So that's your unique marketing campaign angles. It's not so much your unique selling point because it's true for all your competitors, but your competitors aren't going to be necessarily using that marketing stuff. Of course, you can still always touch on those other things, but finding a unique angle is always a good way to stand out in a very competitive market like that. So hope that helps. I know it's a tough industry. If you get good at it, another good pivot point, by the way, is you could become a consultant for consultants who sell solar stuff. So that to me is the next phase in any good consultancy, is when you start consulting for consultants that consult on what you consult. All right, let's see what we got next. Hannah says, building a course on how to learn the skill and get an entry-level job in social media marketing agency. So, building a course on how to get an entry-level job in social media advertising. I'm guessing 4 other. So it's kind of like here, take this course, put it on your resume. It'll help you get a job as a social media advertising person. That's what it sounds like. It's a good niche. So 2, deciding if this is risky. This move could be risky because I am currently employed at an ad agency. To overcome this, I would need to shift my mindset to risk averse, focus on positive impact. That's true. Yeah, very true. Leaving entrepreneurship for a career has conditioned me to be risk averse. Yeah, totally understand. She says, okay, wow, that just helped me a ton having to write it out like that. You know what? That's funny. Like sometimes literally just writing, what do they call that? I have a book over here called, just looking at it the other day. I don't know. I can't find it. I've got too many back there. But it's basically about writing for therapy, how to write out, coach yourself through writing. I'll see if I can find the book, post it in the video description. But it looks like you identified your own kind of barriers there, right? Now, something to keep in mind, if you're teaching people how to get an entry-level job, this might just help with your little kind of mindset conundrum. You're not teaching them like crazy high-level stuff that your company that you work for would be mad about, right? You're covering the basics, which means like the company you work with shouldn't be upset about you teaching the basics. It's like if a client was mad at me for writing a book about copy and then using those copy methods to help them be a better client. I guess I could see where that could be an issue if I had one client and I was writing their specific methodologies. But if you're teaching the basics, the general things that anybody can find, you're not necessarily teaching like trade secrets or anything. You're organizing information to help them learn those things faster. Because as you know, and I know, pretty much everything's out there for free on the internet or for like a few books here and there. Like a lot of this stuff you can learn online. What you're selling is organized information and condensed information and identifying problem areas for them. You're not really selling the information. So I wouldn't be too concerned about that. Good luck with the course. I'm excited to see how you do it. Give us an update if you can. Let's see here. Phoebe's in the chat. Says, I'm keen to know how if you know anyone who has a great soap opera email sequence. Looking for some creative inspiration to get my juices going. You know, that's a good question, Phoebe. I haven't heard that term in a long time. That's Chefron, right? No, not Chefron. Autoresponder Madness. What's that guy's name? Autoresponder Madness. Bought it years and years ago. Wow, it's like not even online anymore, maybe? Oh, here it is. Oh, enrollment closed. But yeah, no, that's what's this guy's name? It's Andre Chefron. Yeah, good guy. I don't know any offhand, but some good old-fashioned Googling might help. Really, the idea there is though, like, like what I'd recommend is write one big kind of thesis piece, like a 5-paragraph essay might be more like call it 3,000 words. Just a big thing, overarching, almost like a launch piece for whatever you're selling. Sales page. Call it a sales page. And then what you do is you just dice it up into chunkable emails with little PS previews to the next section. So like if I were to do this with my sales page, my sales page makes one big argument that there is a skill you should learn as an entrepreneur, and it's the first skill you should learn. And I make that argument on my sales page, right? So what I would do to make a soap opera sequence out of this is I would basically start with the first part of the argument. Like most people think these are the most important skills. I have a secret that there's actually another skill you should learn as an entrepreneur, and it's why you're not getting sales, stuff like that. In the next email, I'm going to share that with you. You know, that's really the idea of soap opera, is like opening that hook for the next email. And then The next email is the number one skill revealed. Copywriting. Explain my copywriting, right? Next email. In the next email, we're going to show you a special method. Here's that, method 1. So really, any big sales piece can turn into a soap opera sequence. You're just breaking it out. So hope that helps. I know there's probably more to it, but in general, that's the concept, right? I don't really use those that much just because I have a hard time believing that people read every one of my emails, and like if they miss one and get out of context, it's a little confusing, but there's ways to address that, but hope that helps. Okay. I'm going to try to go through these a little bit faster because I have a bunch of them here. Jeremy says, I'm working on attracting clients. Truthfully, I'm holding myself back because I'm more concerned with everything being perfect. Yeah. You said it right. Sorry about the little cough there. Yeah, that we talked about it early on in the video, but that ready, fire, aim approach, the book is titled that, is really important. Like, define what your value is, get it ready enough to sell it, then adjust it along the way, make it better, improve it. It's a methodology that helps people who get stuck in that perfection loop. And after you've done that a while, you can, of course, like launch out less of a beta mode, I guess. Yeah, that's a good analogy in software. Think about it. Like when people launch their software in beta mode, it has like my book, for instance, launch in beta mode. I called it early bird, right? You can get in early, So can look at your offer like that. You have to be kind of careful if it's a service, of course. Like no one wants to hire a service that's like they're testing things, so necessarily. But if you're transparent with them, say, listen, I'm giving you a great discount. I have a lot of good results. This is one of the first times I'm doing it with someone in your world. I don't know. I have mixed feelings about that, but that's something you could always try to get the ball rolling. That's really the goal there. That's why that saying is get the ball rolling, because once it gets going, it's a lot easier to keep going. So, the struggle is real, says Jeremy. Massive imperfect action. It's true. Some good comments here, guys. Thanks, Phoebe. I like to think my emails are hilarious. They could. I need to send more. I need to get a little more consistent for sure. All right, Atish. How long have we been live here, guys? It's been fun. But I think, what are we at? We are. It doesn't say. Oh, 45 minutes. Okay. We'll try to keep this to an hour mark here. Might not get to everybody, but we can. Let's see here. So, have started working on a website which will be an aggregator of digital marketing agencies plus other services. For now, working on copy developments. It's just me and my friend who's a developer. Scaling is the issue. I'm currently working and can't. Totally understandable. So, and then you share a personal thing. I want to just talk about this for a minute. I have started working on a website which will be an aggregator of digital marketing agencies. So kind of like, I'm trying to think of like freelancer.com is a bad example, but it's like a marketplace almost, like just a collection of different agencies people can compare. Now, this is more like a meta discussion because I don't know if that's a good idea or a bad idea. I don't want to like make a claim that it's good or bad. But I think the thing you have to go back and make sure is clear is that a problem that needs solving, and are you the one to solve it? I'll repeat that again. Is it a problem that needs solving? Are you the one that needs to solve it? So if you're just building it because you thought it was a good idea, that's not a very good foundation because we all are susceptible to our own biases. We think we're smart, right? Where the market is really going to tell us if we're smart or not. Now, if you've given this a lot of testing and research and have really defined like why you want to build this and the unique selling part of your aggregator as opposed to other aggregators out there, then awesome. But if you haven't, the old saying that it's not always about doing things better, sometimes it's about doing better things. I try to keep that in mind all the time. It's kind of like, what is that? The Uber for this, the Uber for that. It's like, just because you have an idea, it just, again, doesn't always mean it's a good idea. I'm not saying it's a bad idea, but keep that in mind, because the difference here is if you have a market-driven idea that you're filling a very specific hole in the market with a very specific problem that you're solving, it's so much easier to launch, right? If you're later to the market, there's already competitors out there and you're playing catch up, it's much more difficult to sell. Like, I don't know what good aggregators of digital marketing agencies do for the agencies or the people, but yeah, I could probably rant on that forever, but there might be another approach that might make it easier, as opposed to building just another aggregator, right? Like building a Lyft when there's an Uber out there, or another one. So just keep that in mind. I don't have any ideas off the top of my head for you, obviously, but take a closer look at the problem you're looking to solve. Make sure that this is the best way to solve it. There may be other approaches, and make sure that you have a unique aspect that the competitors that you're going up against don't have. So something to think about. Not saying it's a bad idea. Saying that again, I just don't know. And you don't want to assume that it's a good idea just because you thought of it. Saeed says, I am working towards improving my direct response copying skills. Awesome. New to the world of copywriting. Yeah, I didn't really share your barrier, but so a little bit of advice on how to improve your direct copywriting thing. And this is just general advice for everybody to improve copy. Like, you got to write. No more reading. When you go out and you find a new method, a new strategy, a new approach, make sure you write a piece with that advice. I always like to practice. I'll write for affiliate products, and it has the added benefit that you can then become an affiliate and sell that. But like, for instance, you say trying to save up, buy my book, see the price is bumped up. It's true, price has gone up. I said it would for 2 years, and then finally did it. But what you could do is, like, if you're out there looking up methodologies, things like that, go write a sales piece for my book, go become an affiliate for it, and sell a couple copies as an affiliate, and then use that money to buy the book. There you go. There's some advice. But the real advice is like you got to practice. All the reading in the world is gonna it's gonna give you a lot of head knowledge, but if you don't actually experience it, you're not getting any of that. Like, what do they call that? Well, it's experiential learning, right? So don't forget to practice. Some people forget that. I mean, it's not an easy thing to remember to do because it's not that fun. But practice, revise, keep going. Okay. Thanks for sharing those, Saeed. Glad to have you here. All right, Yagish, let's take a look at your site, buddy. Trying to peddle your site. I like how you put that. That's a good, adverb? Verb? I forget. Trying to get people to my website. It's a pretty website. So it looks like you sell a... no, I want to close, yes. That kind of stuff's annoying. But looks like you have some great work, man. So I talked about it earlier with someone who was talking about going from general B2B to manufacturing services. So this is really broad, and you're competing with the freaking world with all these different services. You got graphic design, pre-art, creative design services, web development, design, content writing. You're selling a lot. Now, if you have a big team, you have a big company, you have a lot of ad spending, you can go with small margins, that works. But if you're kind of a solopreneur running your own shop, you have to be a little bit different with how you approach selling your services. I talked about this in that equity consulting course I talked about earlier, but something to consider is niching down a bit. So getting specific with who you provide those services to, and taking the time to really get clarity and adjust. You could even clone your whole site and make all the language speak to that niche. So maybe you do all these services but only for plastic surgeons, or you do all these services only for internet course producers. Being so broad as you are, it's hard for you to get specific with the copy to appeal to any one type of person. Getting down to that level will help. That'll make it a lot easier to sell, and it'll be a lot easier to market because you could market directly to those types of companies or people. And it has another added benefit is it makes your life a lot easier, so you don't have to play the price competition game with generic services out there like yourself. And I can go to the Philippines and get all these services done for really cheap. They're not as good. You know that, I know that, but your clientele, they're a lot of times, especially if they're coming to your site, they're shopping. They're not looking to solve a problem necessarily. They already know the problem. They think they're defining all that good stuff, but what they're doing is they're shopping you versus other people. So, oops, hit the wrong button. So keep that in mind. Maybe niche down a little bit, get a little more specific about what you provide them. So you show them what you sell, but what are you giving them? What does a logo and website provide them? People don't want to just spend money on a pretty website and a pretty logo that they want. What do they want? Answer me. No. They want leads and sales. They're a business. They don't want to just dress up to look pretty. Sure, there's some ego and all that good stuff and tied into that kind of services, but really what you're selling is growth. I've said that 1,000 times on 1,000 different platforms, but as a service, digital marketing service provider, website builder, you're not selling websites, you're selling lead generation, you're selling sales generation for companies. So redo it all. Just kidding. It looks really good, but don't sell these services, right? Don't sell graphic design service. Sell lead generation creation. Don't sell content marketing. Sell trust building. Don't sell digital services, whatever that even means. Sell lead generation. All right. Hope that helps. Yeah, exactly. So Julie says, like the man who perfected the laugh track, the logo game changer that blank the aesthetic world. No, it's good. Yeah, and from a content marketing standpoint, think about it. Teach them why a good logo makes their business more money. Teach them why a good website gets them more leads. What do they care about? What does your customer care about? Talk about that. I'm telling you because I've been there. This was my business 10 years ago. Okay? They don't care. You care. They don't care at all. They do. I mean, this stuff is good, innovative, flexible, cost effective. But dude, I'm telling you, you sell growth in the right context. They don't care how they grow. And to your point about getting people to your site, you don't want leads coming to your site and shopping and comparing you and say, oh, are you $500, $100 for a logo? I can get that logo for $100 and you charge $1,000. Like, you don't want that. You want to be going after customers who know you can help and direct market to them. All right, that's my rant on that. Sorry. Bum, bum, bum. Bum, bum, bum. Just looking at some of these other ones. Seeing that book. Okay. So Frank says he's a relationship coach. He's happy we found a hungry audience first before making the niche. Or a relationship and dating guide for ladies under 35. Somehow, wait, I'm so confused. I had a good start with a relationship coach and writing a guide. Okay, so you partnered with somebody, wrote a guide. Somehow he got overwhelmed with a lot of things arising from the impact of COVID-19. Totally understand. Now I feel like I should wait on him for a little while. Well, it's been 5 weeks since you posted this. I wonder, you have to update us, Frank. The guide was the precursor for the main book to sale. So you made a guide, did well. It's been 6 weeks since we've been behind schedule. Hey, takes a while. Sorry, I'm a little confused by the wording here, but sounds like you have a partner. Sorry, a little confused by this. So you're selling a short guide right now, and you want to sell a book at a higher price. Why not just put those together? Like, dude, here's the secret. So for my book, not the end all be all, of course. But there's a lot of examples of this. The sales page for my book is the first chapter to my book, and it's selling the concept of copywriting as the most important entrepreneur skill. That's pretty much what your free guide probably does. It sells a concept. So why not put your guide into a sales page form, teach them, give them some good content right on the sales page, and then introduce your book. Just try that. It doesn't even have to be complete. You can sell it in digital form. Just make sure it's clear to them that they're getting a discount on it because it is in an unfinished form. So don't overthink it. Make that the short guide you made, turn that into a sales page, transition into the book sale. You'll be good to go. Keep us posted. All right. So we are I'm going to see if there's any of these. Yeah, here, Chris. Sean.co/copy. Boom. By the way, we early on in the stream, took a look at Alphapreneur. So you'll have to hop back after the video and take a look at that. So, Ryan says, currently starting my SEO business from scratch after walking out a bad partnership in a marketing agency. Biggest challenge is cash flow. Walked out of the partnership with nothing. That sucks. Bad partnership, dude. Rule 1, get paperwork. To get over this hurdle, we need 6 new clients so in your new agency. Dude, how can you price it so you only need 1 new client? Well, get more specific. We've talked about this probably a dozen times already on this call. Get more specific with what you're selling. Go after the people that you know you can help and sell it for a price that makes them a bunch of money and makes you a bunch of money. Those are the 3. Why do you need 6 clients a month? Because you're probably charging $2,000 per client, or let's say $1,000 at 6. I don't know. If it's $1,000 a month, 6 clients a month, you're gonna have such a freaking hard time maintaining all that. If you're just doing it by yourself, and then as you add people, you have to manage more people and more clients, blah blah. Why not get specific? Pick pick a specific niche that has money to spend, charge $6,000 up front to get everything together per month, like one-time fee, and then get paid on a percentage of sales because you know you can help them, right? Easier said than done, of course, but it does solve one big problem. Like getting 6 clients is more difficult than getting 1, in my experience as a boutique service provider. Yeah, getting 6 is hard because it's more management, it's more time-consuming communication, it's more phone calls. If you focus on just 1 at a higher price, and still providing, like, obviously there's the obvious stuff, like you need to provide the value to them. It needs to be worth what you're selling it for. You don't want to just, like, quote unquote scam people, like just charge a lot because you can. But then you're coming in as more a strategic partner, getting paid on a bit of equity, and you're getting paid what it's worth up front, right? Okay, so Cody says, getting into the buyer's office to strategic long-term contract. Spinning my wheels a bit on how to get into meetings with direct buyers. I don't know what a direct buyer is, but getting a meeting with anybody is about getting very, very clear on what their problems are. Very clear. More clear than you already are, because otherwise you would be in the door. What are their real problems? How can you speak it back to them in a way that doesn't turn them off? They're getting hit up with a lot of solicitations. What are some ways that you can communicate them in a way that's different than your competitors, stand out a bit, send them a handwritten letter explaining who you are and how you know about their situation, and here's how you can help. Give them something that solves one of their problems right away. Give value up front. Don't just make it a big sales pitch. It works, man. So step 1, get to know their problems better. Max says, man, this is blessed to watch. Appreciate, man. It's nice of you to say. People don't realize how much it's valuable to watch you live for free right now. Incredible value. Max, I appreciate that, man. I will try to keep that up. I will do my best. Yeah, the new setup is clear. It's crystal. It's looking sharp. Okay. But yeah, getting meetings, it's not easy, but if you definitely get to know their problems inside and out, know it better than them. Know their problems better than themselves. That's when you become the best salesperson out there. It's a really good book called what is it? Yeah, I think it's just Insight Selling. I don't know what that book is, but I want to see it later. Yeah, there's a book called Insight Selling. I'm gonna see if I want to make sure I have that on Kindle. I know I have it physically around here somewhere. Now, do I have it on Kindle? I do have it on Kindle. Okay, so this is a really good book on the subject. This is all about the concept of selling insights, not solutions, getting to know their problems better than anybody else, and positioning yourself as the answer to that problem. All right. Eric, we're going to end on you because we have quite a few more here. We're going to have to split this up into 2 parts here, but Eric's a good guy. We'll talk about Eric's here. Number 1, his goal is to make a step-in course. I call the 3 moves mindset difference the CEOs behind megastar products make. So it's a mindset product. Structure and landing page. Structure and landing page is your barrier. So I think we've talked about this, maybe Eric, but in the book, which I know you have access to, here's a place to start with structure. And I'll just show it on the video here, guys. You can see it. If you haven't picked up the book, go check it out. sean.co/copy. See if it's a fit for what you're trying to do in your life and business. But there's a chapter in here called Contrarian Copy Structure. And let's see if I can get it all on the frame here. So, page Well, whatever page this is, I'm not sure. I need to zoom out a bit. My dog does not like that the gardener is here. Oops. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to end on this. What's our first goal in anything we do in marketing? Grab their attention, make sure it's relevant attention, but we want to grab their attention. Get them to pay attention to what we have to say. A good way to do that is say something relevant to them, right? Are you suffering from this problem? Everybody likes a good question that relates to them. Are you tired of not being able to? Are you this? Are you that? So speaking to them and their problems, that's a good way to get attention. Then we got a bit of a hook here where, like, obviously they want to know the answer to that question. But you can even expand on that question and say, you know, there's a surprising, or most people misunderstand the reality around XYZ situation. And truth is, with 2, 3, 5, 100 simple steps, you can solve this problem. That's an example of a hook, like opening a loop that you're going to answer later. All right, so that's all in the attention phase. That's our headline, our subheadline. Then the next part of the sales page, sales message, whatever it is, webinar, doesn't matter. We want to lay the groundwork. Here's what most people think. Most people think this is the problem. Here's why they think that. Then we go into the step 3 here. We aggravate it a little bit. We keep teaching in our writing here. Well, here's the truth. Most people mess up because of this. Most people think this is wrong. We aggravate that situation for them. We really make it clear that they are in a bad situation because of a lack of understanding about a problem that they're in, and we're gonna fix them up. So we give them the truth on the matter, right? Here's the truth. If you just do this, problem solved, right? Then we want to give a little more context. We don't want to just make a claim without giving context. We want to give some scientific examples, some logical examples, some emotional examples. This is all just down the page. It doesn't always have to be all in this order, but it's useful to start here. We also want to kind of drill down into the damage that we like raise the emotional aspect here. Like, because you haven't solved this problem, like other areas in your life are suffering. Because you haven't taken better care of your health, your physical health, your mental health is suffering. Like teaching them other things about the problem and the solution. Okay, then we're really just giving clarity to what they can do, what we have done, what others have done, and really build up the concept of the solution. So we're not necessarily like giving it to them hands down, like here's everything you need to do right here, because usually what we're selling has a lot more steps than it's going to be on just one page. But we're giving a preview of it. Like for my sales page, for example, the problem is that entrepreneurs aren't selling as much as they know they should. My solution is they need to learn copy. I explain why they need to learn copy. Then I explain, like, a lot of people fail. Like, I dig into that. Like, people think their failure is not, they think their idea is bad when really their messaging is just off, right? And then I go into how copy has helped my business, helped my clients, why it's so important. I build that argument. And then what do we do here? Then we give them a call to action. It's really the whole page, right? Like, that's why I created this program. That's why I wrote this book. That's why I made this course. That's why I sell this service. Makes sense, hopefully. Now, the rest of you, I will try to do this again here soon and finalize the old. I'll make sure I make a note up to Eric, but you know, I really appreciate everybody in this group. If this is on, if you're watching on YouTube or somewhere else and you made it this far, good job. Holy cow. That's an hour. You've stuck with me. So you don't need to do anything for me. But if you do want to drop a like, that'll help us a lot. The old YouTube algorithm does not like hour-long videos probably, but a like will help. Subscribe if you really loved it. And be sure to jump into the Facebook group. There should be a link in the description. If not, just search Smart Leverage on Facebook. You'll find the group. Pop in. Try to do this at least once a month. As you see, I'm about a month behind on it. But we do a lot more streaming, hanging out, having fun, talking marketing, talking business. So if that sounds appealing, jump in the group. All right, guys, we're going to call it there today, at least for the video. I'll stay on the stream just for a minute here. And thanks for watching.